Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be recapping the Orioles game that just ended a little bit ago. The Orioles beat the Brewers 8-4 in extra innings. It went all the way to the 11th inning, and the Orioles took the game 8-4 in a huge, must-needed, very hard-fought win for the Orioles. This game is going back and forth. The baseball gods did not want the Orioles to win this game, but the Orioles went out there and got the job done. Adley Rutschman hit a huge 3-run homer in the 11th inning to put the Orioles over the edge, and eventually, with them getting the win, this team went back and forth. In the 9th inning, we were up 3-2 with 2 strikes and 2 outs in the 9th, and then the Brewers tied it, and then in the 10th, we went up 4-3, and then they tied it again in the bottom of the 10th, and then the 11th, we were up we went up 5-4, and then eventually the Adley 3-run homer made it 8-4, and the Orioles ended up winning the game 8-4. A huge game for the O's. You can't even really describe how important this was for them. Obviously, every single game moving forward is important until they're not in this hole that they've put themselves in. Obviously, they have to get out of this hole. There's still 16 games below 500, so it's not like the job is finished. There's still a long way to go before this team is out of this hole and moving and back on its feet again. But it all starts out with a win. They snapped the 8-game losing streak. They avoided getting swept. They got a win today, and they head on the road to Boston for a 4-game series tomorrow through Sunday. And hopefully, if the Orioles can go out and win that series, maybe win that series 3-1, or even maybe sweep that series, then they can have something going for the future. But again, the biggest part of this season right now, and the thing that they need to focus on most, and Tony Mansolino said this himself, they need to focus on getting themselves out of this hole that they're in. There's still 16 games below 500. There's still a lot of baseball games left this season to get out of that hole. But this was a very encouraging win. It was a very hard-fought, encouraging win. It was back and forth. They did their thing. They pulled through. They got a huge win. Could not be more proud of these guys. And, let's just get right into it. So going over this Orioles and Brewers game, the Orioles win 8-4 in a crazy, crazy game that went to the 11th inning. The Orioles are now 16-32 on the season, 16 games below 500. And going over to the offense, the offense put up a total of 14 hits today and scored 8 runs. So the offense did its thing. The offense did a good job getting on base. The offense did a good job even scoring runs as well late in the game, obviously with that Adley homer. They went 6 for 16 with runners in scoring position compared to the Brewers 2 for 13. The Orioles left 11 guys on base. They could have maybe scored some more runs, but at the end of the day, they got the win, and that's all that matters. Jackson Holliday got a hit. He went 1 for 6 and brought in a run. Adley Rutschman, player of the game. And finally, Adley Rutschman, obviously he's been struggling so much this season, especially over the past month or so. Adley Rutschman has really, really struggled to get it going. And he finally comes up big in a big moment. He goes 2 for 6 on the day, but he has that 3-run homer in the 11th inning that put the Orioles up by 4. And again, Adley Rutschman goes 2 for 6, 3 RBIs, has the home run, and so obviously scores the run himself. 213 batting average on the season. Slowly but surely getting better for Adley. Again, this is one of the pillars of this team. This is the guy that they really started the rebuild with. Him and Gunnar were the 2 guys in this rebuild moving forward. Adley, Rutschman, and Gunnar. Adley, Rutschman, and Jackson Holliday. Those are the 3 guys that this team is going to be built around. Obviously, right now at least, probably moving forward as well. That is the 1, 2, and 3 in this batting order. So. Again, Adley, an amazing game, came up big as the hero in this game. Incredible from Adley. He's been struggling so much, and it was so cool to see him finally come up big in that moment. He was really due for that big moment, and it hit. It hit today. He did his thing, got that big home run, and good for Adley. Hopefully he can keep this momentum going. This could be the start of him getting back on track because he has been getting hits recently, so he hasn't been dropping as many hitless games. He has been getting some hits recently. He's been raising his batting average ever so slightly, and hopefully he keeps on going from here. Next up, Gunnar Henderson. He went 2 for 5. He scored 3 runs. Ryan Mountcastle 1 for 6. Ryan O'Hearn with another amazing game. He's been arguably, again, the best pure Orioles hitter this season. He goes 4 for 6, a 4-hit game. Goes 4 for 6, brings in 2 runs. His batting average is up to a 306 with a 507 slug and an almost 400 on-base percentage. So Ryan O'Hearn's having a criminally underrated season for the Orioles. He's been one of the top guys. He's been extremely reliable and extremely consistent as well. Kind of reminds me of what Jordan Westbrook did for this team last year, where he just kind of always come up big in, clutch scenarios. He was always, consistently getting hits even when the rest of the team wasn't doing well. And Ryan O'Hearn continues his hot streak on the season. Cedric Mullins goes 2 for 4. Manuel Rivera goes over 3. Heston Kjerstad goes 1 for 5 and brings in a big run in this game in the 8th inning. Dylan Carlson 0 for 2, and then Ramon and Jorge Mateo came in as pinch hitters and pinch runners, and they didn't really do anything in this game. But again, the Orioles with a huge day on offense, 14 hits. They were getting on base. They only got walked twice, but 14 hits, got on base 16 total times. They really went out there, did their thing, put on a big show, and even when in this game when it looked like the Orioles were going to potentially lose the game in the bottom of an inning and the Brewers were going to walk it off, the pitching was able to hold it. Even if they gave up a run, they were able to not give up any more, and then the offense was able to respond. And that's something that I really like from this game, and that's definitely the biggest takeaway of this game, is that the Orioles kept fighting. They kept fighting in this game. They were down 2-1 early, then they tied it, then they took a lead, then it was tied, then they took a lead, then it was tied, then they took a lead. They kept pushing forward and they kept fighting. And instead of just rolling over and dying and the offense just stalling out in a big clutch scenario, they prevailed and they did good, and that's very encouraging to see, because if they can keep this up and if they can keep that mentality going forward, then this team could very well get out of this hole that they're in. Again, 16 games below 500, they still got a long way to go. But I really do believe in this team. I believe in this offense, and I believe in that this pitching core can get it together. And if all that can just happen around the same time and a little bit of luck go our way, then this Orioles team could be on the right track. So going over to the pitching, this was Tomoyuki Sagano Day. He gets through 6 innings. He gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, has 3 strikeouts, and a home run as well, and also gives up a walk. An amazing game by Tomoyuki Sagano. Once again, he is the best pitcher on this Orioles staff that is available. Tomoyuki Sagano, an incredible game. Gets through 6 innings, gives up only 2 runs. He really did his thing. He kept the Orioles in this game. Early on, when the Orioles offense wasn't really doing anything, Tomoyuki Sagano really mitigated the damage in this game and really did amazing. Again, his ERA is at a 3.07, and we're almost in June, so Tomoyuki Sagano has having an incredible season, and he is such a big reason why the Orioles even won this game, because he was able to limit the damage as much as he could early on in the game that eventually kept them in the game, and then they're able to eventually obviously win this game. And somebody who made their Orioles debut today, not his major league debut, he's been in the majors for a pretty long time, but Andrew Kittredge, who was one of the free agents that the Orioles picked up this offseason that I was really excited about. I think the two that I was most excited about were Sagano and Kittredge, so it was really cool to see them pitch back-to-back today. So Andrew Kittredge came in his Oriole debut. He started off the season on IL, and he's been on IL all season long. I think he got he had like a knee scope injury, not injury, he had like a knee cartilage surgery that he had earlier on in the offseason, which kept him out of all the spring training and also kept him out of the start of the year. So Andrew Kittredge came into this game for the first time in his Orioles debut. I think he went through 5 different AAA starts, so he got his rehab starts good. He recovered from that knee injury and that knee surgery that he got, and he's now officially back. And he started off his Orioles debut with a bang. Only pitched 1 inning, obviously. And Andrew Kittredge, again, Andrew is going to be a guy who's going to be able to go 2 innings or maybe even 3 innings as a reliever. He did that a lot when he was with the Cardinals. He was an incredible reliever with the Cardinals last year, and he's been a very solid reliever in his career as well. So today he goes into the game, only pitches 1 inning. Obviously, we're going to limit him because he is coming back from that surgery. But 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, gives 1 strikeout, and only 8 pitches. It only took him 8 pitches to get out of the inning that he pitched in. Again, no hits, no runs, no walks. Incredible game by Andrew. Also threw in a strikeout in there as well. So a great game by Andrew. Hopefully he can keep it going. This guy is going to be a huge part of this bullpen. You can even argue that he is the most important bullpen guy other than Felix Bautista, obviously, who's our closer. Andrew's going to be that big guy who's going to take in a lot of workload. Kind of same thing with Charlie Morton. Gregory Soto comes into the game. He does very good. 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks. And then Felix Bautista in the 8th inning was there, and he pitches 1 inning, gives up a hit, a run. Not the 8th inning. He pitched in the 9th, and Felix Bautista gave up a hit, a run, and 2 walks. And Felix Bautista was the guy who blew the save. The Orioles were, there was 2 outs in the 9th inning, and there was also 2 strikes on Durbin, and we were 1 strike away from winning the game, and there was a runner on second, and Durbin brought that runner in home and tied the game, and that's what eventually led to the game going into extra innings, because they scored off of Felix Bautista, who obviously this was the first time he's pitched in back-to-back days. I think they said since August of 2023, so he's not really used to this workload. Obviously, we've been trying to save him, and you really haven't been able to use him because the Orioles have lost a lot of games, so there's no real need for him to be in the game. But Felix Bautista, he blows the save, gives up the hit, doesn't really look great. 24 pitches in that inning before he got out of it. Not great by Felix. I do think he's going to bounce back. I do think that he'll be fine as we go on throughout the season. Brian Baker goes into the game, and he actually gets the win in this game. He goes 1 inning, gives up a hit and a run, but the run was unearned. It was off of an error. But Brian Baker still doesn't get the win. He's actually 3-0 on the year, and Brian Baker has been the best Orioles reliever so far this season, a 2.1 ERA. And for this Orioles pitching staff, that is absolutely incredible. Kind of the same way that Tomoyuki Sagano's 3.07 ERA is incredible, just due to the lack of talent and the lack of, execution within this pitching staff. So Brian Baker did great, got the win on this game. And then Seranthony Dominguez came in the 11th inning and shut the game down. 1 inning, 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, and had a strikeout as well. So this pitching staff really did its thing. Felix and Brian Baker gave up those runs that kind of made this game close. Obviously in the 9th and 10th inning where the Brewers went out and tied it. But, they did their thing. They kept the Orioles in this game. The Orioles pitching kept them in the game, and the offense was able to capitalize, obviously, the big hit being that Adley Rutschman 3-run homer. So it's really nice to see the Orioles getting a win. As I said, they do start a 4-game series in Boston tomorrow. So hopefully this can be the start of something great. Hopefully they can go into Boston and win this series. And I'm not talking just win the series. I'm talking they got to sweep this series. Because tomorrow in Boston at 5:45, it's going to be Cade Povich versus Luis Giolito. Obviously, Giolito is a former Cy Young candidate. He was incredible for the White Sox back then. But this season, in the 20 pitches that he's pitched in, he has been pretty horrible. A 7.08 ERA, 17 strikeouts, 6 walks, 5 home runs, 25 hits in only 20 innings. So not a great season for Lucas Giolito. But obviously he still does have that past experience. So we do, I would say, have the pitching advantage in this game tomorrow. I wouldn't say that we have the advantage in the game because the Red Sox have been an incredible team so far. They've kind of struggled a bit recently, but they are still a great team. And, they're still extremely talented, and they're a team that was going to be one of the teams that would compete for the American League East. But it's going to be Cade Povich, Lucas Giolito, big game for the Orioles. If they can go out here and win this series 3-1 or even sweep this series, the worst that they can do in this series is split it 2-2. Hopefully they can win the series, or if the best possible outcome, obviously, is for a sweep. If that can happen, I'm just saying right now, if the Orioles go into Boston and sweep them, then we are officially back. I'm declaring it, because if we do sweep the Red Sox, that would be our 20th win. We'll still be 12 games back behind 500, but at the same time, All it takes is a little bit of momentum, and they got their win today. Hopefully they can go out and win tomorrow, get a little bit of a winning streak going, and just can go on a run, because that's the only way that this Orioles team is going to be able to get out of the hole that they're in. But thank you guys so much again for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow up on the Spotify. I appreciate all the support, all the kind comments, all of the comments in general on the show. I'm having a ton of fun doing this. Obviously, this has been a blast of this has been a crazy season so far for the Orioles. Obviously, there's been a lot of big Ravens news as well. And yeah, the Orioles get a big win today. Again, hope you all like this episode. Hope you all have a great rest of y'all's day. I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow night after the Orioles and Red Sox game, recapping that game. Hopefully the Orioles can go on a run starting, can keep going tomorrow. Obviously they got the win today. Hopefully they can extend it, get a win tomorrow, and start up a good little run for the future. And just get back into the season, man, because that's really all they got to do. They just got to slowly but surely cut this lead down. The 16 games under 500, that's their only goal, is to get back on track in the season, and I believe that they do have the talent to do it. I just think they got to have the mentality to do it as well. Also, one more thing before I leave. This was the first win in the Tony Mansolino era, so congratulations to him for getting his first win as a big league manager. But we've got a lot of work to do moving forward, but I do believe in this team and their capabilities to come back into this season. So it's going to be a really fun ride moving forward. And again, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.